Now, in my eyes, the justice system in this country is a mess. Right, let's start with why removing a statue in the most violent manner in the midst of a protest is not seen as criminal damage. Now, this, of course, being the statue of Colston, a 17th century slave trader. Because the statue was apparently seen as a hate crime, the Colston Four, this is what they are currently being called, were able to argue against a criminal prosecution for removing it. Can you imagine if this argument was presented by four black youths with hoodies? I don't think so. I mean, let's be honest, it would be laughed out of court. The four, Rianne, Milo, Sage and Jake, very middle-class sounding, I must say. Now, their defence that they effectively owned the statue as it belonged to the people of Bristol and that they couldn't be convicted of damaging their own property. So let me get this straight. Does that mean that as I effectively, say, own the street lamps, I think they are owned and paid for by me via the council tax, so inadvertently I own them? Does that mean that I can cut one down if it's pointing directly into my bedroom and causing me sleepless nights? And because I own it, I cannot be prosecuted for my actions. Or I could at least argue against prosecution. What if I'm offended by a monument that I believe is a hate crime? And I can't imagine this would go down well with an employer. Do these people even have jobs? If I did this, I'm sure my employer wouldn't be happy with me being involved in something like this. And of course, this was part of the Black Lives Matter protests. I'll bet Extinction Rebellion and Insulate Britain are looking at this with glee. I mean, who pays for these cases to be heard anyway? In my view, they should have had the book thrown at them, literally. I mean, what message does it send to anyone wanting to protest? It means that the green light is pretty much the go-ahead has been given to criminal people to do things like maybe criminal damage, as long as you have a good enough reason for it, and that reason can be because of something that represents something that happened hundreds of years ago and was acceptable at the time, but you've decided it being there is a form of hatred. Come on, really? I hear the counter-argument, but what if there was a statue of Hitler? Yes, it should be removed, but by the correct means. Another argument I hear is that the people of Bristol have been campaigning to get that statue taken down for years, but nothing has been done about it. Yes, that's also wrong, but you still don't let people off for doing something, in my eyes, which looks to me like criminal damage. The four were acquitted, and they declared that this was a victory for anybody who wants to be on the right side of history. Well, I'm afraid the floodgates have just opened.